Now, British MPs are considering formally stripping Prince Andrew of his titles and holding an unprecedented debate about his conduct in the House of Commons. What's the latest on this?
Well, this is the story that just will not go away and is not going away. And actually, the most ironic thing is of course when Prince Andrew released that short statement through Buckingham Palace saying that he's going to be relinquishing the title of the Duke of York and all the rest of his honours and patronages. Not that he had too many to begin with anyway after that terrible car crash interview with Emily Maitlis. But when he released the statement, obviously he made reference to the fact that he continues to be a distraction for the brilliant work of the royal family. Well, the irony is he is continuing even after giving up those titles to be this humongous distraction for the royal family. You know, when we look at the events that His Majesty the King's been doing over the past couple of days, you know, the Supreme Leader of the Church of England going to pray with the Pope, then followed by just today an event this morning honouring LGBTQ veterans and honouring people that were expelled from the army just because they were gay, and honouring LGBTQ veterans that were killed in the line of fire for this country. Again, a huge event for the King. But yet all anybody wants to do is talk about Prince Andrew, and then everything that he's been saying, bearing in mind as well, the interview with Emily Maitlis was considered a huge car crash, devastating impact. He had to be, you know, stripped of all of his royal duties and basically thrown out to the wolves and exiled as a working member of the royal family. But yet in that interview alone, of course, he's now being caught out as a liar, bearing in mind he's lied about when exactly he was in communication, when he cut off communication with Jeffrey Epstein. And it's since been exposed that he's been emailing Jeffrey Epstein after he said he cut off contact with Epstein, basically saying we'll still play together, whatever that means. So now I think the main question with Prince Andrew is, just because he's relinquished the titles, is that going far enough? People want to see the royal family do more. This is why the MPs, I think, when it comes to the MP, you know, we've got the Liberal Democrat, which is, I don't want to say a Republican party, but if there was going to be a party with anti-monarchy tendencies, then it would be the Liberal Democrats, calling for Prince Andrew's finances to be investigated in a select committee. And then, of course, there's all of this question about Royal Lodge. And the big story today is, because Royal Lodge is this huge 30-room mansion on the Windsor estate, people were talking, well, where's his money coming from? How's he paying for this? What's the lease? And now it's been revealed that he only pays a peppercorn rent lease because he paid £8 million up front back in 2003, which adjusted for inflation in 2025 would be, I looked it up, £14 million today. That would be for both upfront rent costs and also for renovation. And then although this lease, it is a watertight lease, it does have very specific terms, such as no gambling on the premises. He has to keep the stonework, the exterior stonework in check. He has to repaint the interior of the mansion as well. So it is there are very tight restrictions on this lease, and the grounds also have to be kept in order, and they're subject to inspection by the Windsor Park Estate, the Crown Estate. But saying that optically for the royal family, where there is this prince who invokes nothing but disgust from the public, living in splendour, although some people argue as Royal Lodge even that splendorous, you know, optically it doesn't look good for the royal family. So today, The Sun in the UK has reported that he has agreed to vacate Royal Lodge. This is reportedly after pressure from his own daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, and that was after reported meetings with Prince William, putting pressure on the two princesses to then put pressure on their own father. But he said, okay, sources told The Sun today that he knows his time at Royal Lodge is coming to an end, but apparently in return, he's demanded two houses for him to go to Frogmore Cottage. Of course, he was offered that 2 years ago by His Majesty the King, but he's also demanded Adelaide Cottage for his wife, Sarah Ferguson. Of course, Adelaide Cottage is where currently Prince William, Princess Catherine and their three children reside. It's got 4 bedrooms, and reportedly, they're moving into another house on the Windsor estate, Forest Lodge. Sources have reported that there's a huge rush to get them moved into Forest Lodge. However, sources also say that they want Prince Andrew to move out of Royal Lodge before they even go to Forest Lodge, because that would make them neighbours. And we saw at the Duchess of Kent's funeral just how much Prince William despises Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew trying to muscle in and talk to the heir to the throne, and Prince William having absolutely none of it. But then, of course, there's calls for Prince Andrew, because he obviously wants to live in Windsor, to be in close proximity to Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, who both live in London. Some people say he should be exiled to Sandringham, and some say he should be exiled to Balmoral. And then other people are saying, well, it's time for Prince Andrew to get a normal job, to make his own way in the world. But I've actually been thinking about this a little bit, Gabriella. And the thought of Prince Andrew getting a normal job, it's like, okay, what company, bearing in mind Prince Andrew's current reputation, would actually want to hire Prince Andrew at the moment? Imagine Prince Andrew going to a job interview and then going, okay, what's your former employment? Oh, yeah, I was a prince of the realm. Oh, do you have any references for that? Yeah, well, I was kind of kicked out the firm and the institution, and my brother, His Majesty the King, doesn't want to give me a reference. And I was kicked out the institution due to my links to a global sex trafficking ring, and then lying on national/international telly about my actual links and how close to them I was, and my contact with the member at the center of a global sex trafficking ring. So what company would actually want to hire Prince Andrew anyway, even if he was to go for a job of his own, a normal job? So this is the thing, the royal family are in a real catch-22 situation where with Prince Andrew, it's like they just don't know what to do with him. This is a huge PR crisis, because you have a former senior member of the royal family linked to a global sex trafficking ring, having lied about his actual connections with the person at the center of that global trafficking ring. So he will put any company into disrepute. And then it's a case of, well, they can't exactly evict him from Royal Lodge due to this ironclad lease, which he has paid millions upon millions of pounds for this house previously. But then what can they actually do? So this is the existential question that is at the heart of the royal family at this moment in time.
Yeah, it's an absolute disaster, but I think it is wild that he wants 2 homes in exchange for leaving.